Thanks for watching. My name's Chippy and you're watching the UMC Portal and Ultrabook News video channel on YouTube. In this video I'm going to show you a quick rundown of the Lenovo Thinkpad X240, which I've just spent best part of today finishing the review on. Here it is. You've seen some intro videos from me on this, but I just want to round up pretty quickly with some highlights and lowlights of the device. If you're a Lenovo Thinkpad fan, you'll know already what it's all about, and to summarize it to those that don't know what Thinkpad is all about, it's really about business machines with a very high quality working fascia and a longer lifetime than you might expect from, say, a consumer notebook. Now the X240 has changed a couple of design features, and one of them is a very key feature, and that is that the mouse pad, the touchpad, is now buttonless. So I want to mention something there. The previous Thinkpad I used, I got very used to the touch point and the buttons on the top of the mouse pad. Physical buttons. They were really quite nice. I'm not so sure about this touchpad, and I think that those of you that have been used to the buttoned touchpad may have a problem in using this. And what's happened with me in using this is that I've gone away from using the touch point and have actually switched the touch point off and the touch button areas at the top, and I'm now just using it as a buttonless mouse pad, which is kind of interesting because it means that trademark button just doesn't need to be there anymore. It depends how you use your device. If you're really into that touchpad pointer, you'll probably get used to using the buttons on the top there. But I will say, I think it's a step back. I know that it reduces the Z height of the device. It probably reduces complexity, reduces the risk of failure, and reduces the cost as well. But there's a definite trade-off there, and one you should be aware of. Check it out. It's certainly not a bad, in general, touchpad, but compared to what was a pretty unique experience on the touchpads with the buttons, it's different. Now the second thing to mention, and hopefully I can switch this on to demonstrate it, is the battery configuration. Now there's a 24-watt battery already inside here. Now you can see at the top there's a removable battery. Now that's the very low capacity one of 24 watt hours. So you've got 48 watt hours of battery here, weighing 1.4 kilos in this device, bringing you in web work up about 6 or 7 hours of battery life. So pretty good. But just imagine you can actually drop, instead of the 24 watt hour battery in there, a 72 watt hour battery. So that would take it from 50 to close to 100 watt hours. So you'd be doubling the battery life. So you'd be getting about 12 hours worth of web working, 16 to 18 hours worth of Wi-Fi off typing, video life, battery life, if you're using Windows 8, of 12 to 15 hours, something like that. So really quite interesting. It would increase the height. But there's another feature, of course, with the built-in battery. So that's on right now. I am just going to pull that battery off. You just have to close the screen slightly, and it's a little bit awkward to take it off. The battery's off there, and you'll see it's still running. So that internal battery allows you to hot swap. It's called Power Bridge technology from Lenovo, and that's quite a nice feature. I also noticed that it seemed to charge fairly fast. I'm not sure whether it just charges one battery and then the next, but certainly one of the batteries seemed to charge fairly quickly. Right. Screen, we've got a 1366 by 768 matte screen IPS on here. There are some options. I think I would prefer to keep the 1366 by 768 on this, as it's a mobile device, so you're likely to be using it in airport lounges, maybe where there's a lot of light. So readability is really important. So you need IPS, you need bright backlight, which this has got. You also need bigger font sizes, especially if you think about sitting in a train or a plane where there's movement. Small font sizes can be really stressful. So actually for this this device and the sort of target usages it has, I would stick with the 1366 by 768 screen. It's a non-touch. So in fact this is not really an Ultrabook. It says Ultrabook on it. Hasn't got a touch screen. It's got the dual array mics, and it's got an SSD enhanced hard drive, which brings us to that side of it. It is the hard drive that seems to make this feel a little bit slower, certainly in tests where the SSD part of it doesn't really improve those performance results. It does seem to be a bit slower. In normal use, I think the Express Cache SSD is helping. Certainly after a day or two's usage, you start to notice that some apps are starting up a lot faster. So think about that. There is a small amount of noise associated with that spinning drive. It sounds like a fan that's on at a very, very low rate, but you wouldn't hear it in a normal office environment. Which brings me to noise. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate it on this video. I think I'm going to put up a separate video on it. But there is a definite high-pitched whine to the built-in fan here. In normal use, so that is office use, I don't think you're going to hear it. In fact, most of the time it's going to be off. Certainly if you're just typing, it's going to be off. And even on low settings, you probably won't hear that. But it's when you get home to your home office and you sit down and you're working away and you're maybe doing some heavy spreadsheet work, editing some photos and doing something like that, and you're probably going to start to hear that fan. And there is a mode on here called Turbo Boost Plus mode. It's a Lenovo mode. And as far as I can tell, all it does is just push that fan up to high speed so that Intel Turbo Boost has a little bit more headroom. It keeps the temperatures lower, and you certainly can hear the fan there, and it is not a very nice sound. So those of you that are doing high-powered work in very quiet environments, beware. There is a pitch to the fan which is a little bit annoying. I think that's pretty much it to talk about on the X240, because in general then it's just typical ThinkPad of high quality. I really like the device. The size is nice and portable. The battery life is stunning. The ports are pretty good. You've got DisplayPort, you've got options for smart card reader, you've got the fingerprint reader, you've got options for vPro, there's TPM 1.2 in here, full size Ethernet, you've got 3G options, you've got the screen options, you've got CPU options, you've got memory options, you've got battery options. It's typical Lenovo, and as I look at the bottom, it reminds me that you've got the docking port as well, so there's docks available. So that is typical ThinkPad, lots of options. So what you're seeing reviewed here doesn't really apply to some of the higher end versions. That's it then for the X240. If you've got questions on it, I do have it for another couple of days. Don't hesitate to drop a question. And don't forget to subscribe somewhere down there and set it up so you get email notifications. And thanks to Lenovo for sending this over. Thanks to Lenovo also for sending over the, what have we got here? The Yoga 2 Pro, which is next up on review on ultrabooknews.com. But that will be a few weeks. We're just heading into Christmas period now. I've got a couple of days before I knock off for at least a week. So there may be one or two more videos going up in the next couple of days, but you probably won't see the review of this going up until maybe even the first week of 2014. But thanks to Lenovo for supplying. Was it Lenovo? No, it was Dell today that actually offered to send over the Venue 8 Pro. They've been very good as well. So speaking of the Venue 8 Pro, that should be turning up. I think it turned up yesterday, but I wasn't here and it got sent back, and the re-delivery didn't happen today. So maybe tomorrow a Dell Venue 8 Pro will turn up. And I think at the same time the Toshiba Encore WT8 8-inch Windows 8.1 tablets on Bay Trail will be turning up. If those two turn up, I might switch on the live cam and we'll do a little bit of a live show with those, so that'll be pretty interesting. The other thing we've got, of course, is the Chromebook, and we're doing an SSD upgrade on that one, thanks to My Digital SSD for sending that over. That will happen probably over Christmas, maybe first week in the new year. If you don't watch any more videos before the end of the year, I wish you all the best for 2014. Subscribe now, and I promise I'm going to be bringing you more of these kind of in-depth studio videos during 2014. Try and have more two-way going. I'll try and keep my eyes on the comments, so don't hesitate to post questions. I'll try and answer them as soon as I can. All right, so it's at Chippy on Twitter, ultrabooknews.com, umcportal.com, we're on G+, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter as well for the sites. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.